Discord is at the heart of cross-Atlantic gaming. So today, it's sponsoring us. Come down, join us. Links are in the show notes. Now it's time for Fight For Me.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 76 of Cross Atlantic Gaming. I'm your host, Risky the Kid, and joining me this week is my co-host, Chocolate Bear.
How you doing?
What's going on, Chocolate? It's going to be a nice, small, intimate show tonight, just the two of us.
Just what I like, just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
We can make it if you try.
And that's the end of the singing for this show.
Yep, sorry.
You are welcome, ladies and gentlemen. All right, before we get into the show, we do have one announcement. Our active Discord user for the month of October, it was a tight race between Ryan and Aimster. But before our bot died, the person that was on top was Aimster. Woo!
Yes.
So I never know if you're supposed to cheer for those people. Like you've put so much time and effort into being a part of our community. I guess we should, but also you spent a lot of time on Discord. Like I think I was like 7th or something this month. Probably not great on my part.
I think the top 7 consisted of every active FIFA player in the community.
That's 100% true. It's like a lot of days things seem kind of like they get slow once in a while. I'm like, where is everyone? And then I click into the FIFA channel because I have it muted, and there's just like 4,000 messages I haven't seen before. It's like, oh, I found everyone. They're all talking about FIFA. But luckily, that's the only FIFA talk you're going to get this whole podcast. So hope you enjoyed it.
Yes,
That's
indeed. But our bot is now broken, isn't it? The bot is dead.
Yeah, like it wasn't working for a little while, and I was like, all right, what's going on? And it had reset itself, so the prefix that you have to put in, which is usually just an exclamation point, had reverted back to a hashtag and then an exclamation point to get it working again, so I had to change that. And then when I did, now it's not tracking XP, so the month of November may or may not have a leaderboard announced. So, yeah, take that for what it is. We still appreciate all of you active users in Discord.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyways, another week in gaming. What have the two of us been playing? Let's start with another game completed by Chocolate.
Yes.
You rolled credits on Gears 5 finally. I know that's at least it was a couple people's game of the year, and now Outer Worlds is out. I don't know. The talk seems to be changing. Who knows? But how did you enjoy Gears 5?
Yeah, I did have some hang-ups about the open world element of Gears, kind of going around. I call it fetch questy, but it wasn't fetch quest. It was very frustrating at trying to pick up all the little extra clues to kind of finish off the main part of the story. So I managed to hit everything, which I'm quite pleased with. But I had some... See, I don't know whether I want to mention this now. So I had some predictions, and I was about 3/4 of the way through the story. So if you don't want any spoilers...
I was like, you are tiptoeing dangerously around this.
Don't listen. Fast forward a good minute and a half, and then come back into it. So here we go. Spoiler alert.
What do I do if I don't want to hear a spoiler? Am I supposed to guess?
Oh, that's a point. So, Risky.
What the...
Are you going to finish Gears? I think is the first question.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to need to in order to get some type of Game of the Year list out. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Ready?
30 seconds.
Set. Go.
So my prediction was that there was going to be a Phoenix that died, and also that Katie would lead the Gears team. So my feeling is Gears 6, Katie will be the new leader. My other prediction of a Phoenix dying kind of tiptoed to a choice that you make almost on the second to last chapter. You get to choose who unfortunately passes away. You can come back in now, Risky. Don't make me try and fill 30 seconds of air.
All right. Did you finish?
I did finish, just.
All right. That's all we're looking for.
So, yeah, the story's fantastic. It's good. It does... You do get to the final chapter. You do what you have to do, and it does leave you feeling, oh, is that it?
Wanting for some more?
Yeah, also, I don't want to say unfinished, but I think every Gears of War has been 5 chapters comprising of, or 5 acts compacting of so many chapters. This kind of fell a little bit short of that. The story, however, was very in-depth, drew me in, loved every minute of the story, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do come Gear 6.
So it set itself up for a Gear 6, it sounds like. But, of course it did, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why would you not flog this horse of Gears of War when you can make more money? I think there'll be another couple of Gears installments.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I wonder if they're just going to... I want to say keep doing it kind of like how the Star Wars movie trilogies went. It's just kind of different sections. You had your original Gears trilogy, and then now you're getting the next 6 or the next 3, and then it's like maybe you'll end up getting a prequel or something, or like 20 years in the future or something like that. I wonder if they're going to keep doing like sets of 3.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind going 20, maybe 30 years in the past, kind of like a young Marcus Phoenix going up through the ranks.
Yeah, right, something like that. But then I wonder if that's also something better suited for their little spin-offs like Gears Judgment or something like that.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that game. That was dreadful.
Apparently we don't. That's true. That's good though. Hey, you rolled another game. Look at you go.
I'm quite happy. I think I'm down to 3 or 4 games completed for the year.
That feels like you might be beating me at this point. So,
but you were doing so
trouble.
well. You were doing so well at the beginning of the year. You were batting away quite a few in the first couple of months.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those were games that I had started in 2018, and then so I think realistically I probably had to put like a few hours into each of them to be done. And they were all like indie Switch games. I feel like I don't know that I've beat. Hey, I did roll credits on Borderlands 3. Proud of that one. I'm sure I didn't do it the way I'm supposed to with 18 additional playthroughs after it and all that stuff, but who's got time for that?
Yeah, that's my next one. That's my next one.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't beat that yet.
Gears was I started Gears first, so that was the next one. Yep.
So by the time nobody is playing Borderlands 3, you'll be there just in time to not play with anyone.
Possibly, or they'll be on their 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th playthrough.
That's true. They're just going to be dropping you these guns that just blast through all the content. Perfect.
Yeah. Chaotix dropped me a few already, he said, so I need to go jump in and check it out.
And I think with the amount of shift codes you have at this point, you probably don't even need to play the game. Just get to your ship and just take out a new weapon every 5 levels, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I have been a bit of a demon with those shift codes.
Fiend.
Anyone need some shift codes? Join us on Discord.
Anyone got some shift codes?
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Good on you though. I'll be finishing it. I was in the 3rd act when I stopped.
Power through.
I know.
You're not that
bad gamer ADD stuff. I don't know.
You're not that far away. If you're only, you're not that far. Honestly.
All right, you've sold me. I will finish it before the end of the year, which, funny enough, is going to be here. And we're 2 months away from the end of the year already. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I've got so much stuff to be playing other than Destiny. I sort my priorities. That's what I got to do.
Yep.
Oh, well. So, Gears 5 wrapped. Awesome. Proud of you. All right. I've been playing a little bit of this game called Minit, which is spelled M-I-N-I-T. Not minute like the amount of time, but funny enough, it has a lot to do about time. This I think this came in the Game Pass recently. Yes, maybe. I'm sure we covered it on our show. I would have just forgotten at this point. But anyways, Minit. It reminds me a lot of, well, at least the style of it. It reminds me of Zelda, except for it's black and white, and each playthrough, I say playthrough in quotation marks, is 60 seconds long. So, what essentially is happening, you're starting off in this starter area. You have 60 seconds. You see the timer in the top left, and you have that much time to go until your guy dies, and then you wake up the next morning and you get 60 seconds again. This whole entire game will get beat in 60-second chunks.
So this is your perfect game for the way you play.
Exactly. 100%. So yeah, you wake up, like I said, it reminds me of Zelda. You wake up, you go down to the beach, you find a sword. I just finished playing, or not finished playing, I'm still playing Link's Awakening, but that's like how that game started exactly. So definitely some inspiration there. But you find this sword, and then you get this curse put on you where you die every 60 seconds, essentially. What's cool, though, is every 60 seconds you're going out into this world. You're learning things, you're collecting things, and when you start your next run, say you found the sword during your first run. Now that you have the sword, when you wake up the next day, you're going to have that sword to progress through the world, I guess. There's other things like flashlights, just a bunch of different items that you're going to be collecting during these 60-second runs that are just going to help progress you further into the story, into the world, and whatnot. What the 60-second timer does, it puts an urgency on the game by a lot. So this is super early on, but it's really funny. You get to this an old man who is telling you this story. The whole thing's text-based, by the way, too. So it's not like there's no dialogue. It's all written out. So you're reading it. But this old guy, the way that they're delivering his audio, it's so slow. Like, it feels like an old guy talking to you. But as this guy's trying to tell you the story, you're just watching the 60-second counter just slowly tick down. So after like 30 seconds of him telling the story, you're like, oh, well, time to restart again. And you run into like scenarios like that a couple times, and it's funny. But yeah, this whole game is black and white. It's shot from top-down perspective, like Link's Awakening. And yeah, I don't know. It's a fun little game. The music's great. It's got a little chiptune soundtrack that goes really well with it. But it's a lot of fun. And if you need a game that you can play easily in little chunks, and like this game is maybe like 2 hours long from what I've heard. So definitely a game you could finish in one setting. But the whole idea of it, the whole 60 seconds, take the knowledge you've gained, take the new items you've gained, and progress this world. And then the point where I left off was I had reached a new location on this starter island. It was a new location that I could respawn at, though. So what that does is just gives me a better starting place where I can utilize those 60 seconds to go even further out into the world, discover more things, yada, yada, yada. But anyways, it's free on Game Pass. I think it's $10 generally everywhere else.
So this is the perfect Switch game then?
Yeah,
Again.
I think so. But it's tough to purchase it on Switch if you have it on Game Pass, I guess. I've done that before. And it's even I looked it up, it's on mobile. It's like $5 on mobile. So you can literally play this anywhere. It's great for little burst sessions of play if you need to switch it up or if you only have a limited amount of time. But the whole 60 seconds and then you die, like multiple run things, I think it's pretty awesome. It's a fun little game.
I see, those things, they do drive me mad. I do like the idea and the premise of them, but I can't. I need that flow or that knowing I'm going from A to B to C. That kind of death would...
Yeah, I get that.
Would frustrate me, but that's only because I am not a linear. Yeah, I am. I'm a linear. I need that linear line to
follow this exactly, and I think it does a decent job of telling you where to go, and like that, like, so part of this is start over. You run into a cave eventually that you need a light to get into. And then, so you're going to find a light, obviously, but then at the start of that next run, you have a light on you. You know exactly where you need to run to go through that next part. and just keeps progressing like that slowly. So I'm assuming to finish the game or break the curse or whatever, it's gonna happen in 60 seconds. Like because that's how much time you have. So your final run is gonna be 60 seconds long at the most. I don't know. It's just cool. I'd never played anything quite like it with that's time gated and resets you like that, where there's nothing you can do to add time onto it or anything like that. It's a neat little game. And that's Minit, Minit, no U's.
Strange spelling.
Yep. Intentional. All right. Next up, let's talk about let's do some COD campaign. You started that up. I know the last time we talked, I played a little bit of the campaign, but you're diving into that now. How about that campaign as far as realism goes? Pretty scary, huh?
It does push the blood pressure up, doesn't it? The graphics are immense, and it gives you that. Well, it does suck you in, which obviously I suppose a game like this is meant to. And that it's that second level, isn't it? After you go through London, which I will say at every podcast whenever COD is mentioned or multiplayer, I hate the Piccadilly map.
The Piccadilly map is awful.
Yes.
Unless you're hiding up in a second story window in a shop or something like.
Oh yeah, sniping down,
it's
getting
bad map design, especially if you're playing Domination or whatever. I think it's called Domination, where B is just right in the center,
right in the
out
middle,
in the open. It's like every single person on the map can see you as soon as you spawn in. Like it's tough, not great.
But yeah, so you go through that level, don't you? And then you get some night goggles on and go through an apartment complex. It's very.
And it's at that point that you can't distinguish what's real life and what's a video game.
It is
nuts.
Very real. It does so well. I'm finding this story. I don't think I've been sucked into a COD story as much as this one. The way it looks, the way it plays, the way it feels, it does a fantastic job of kind of just pushing you. I think at one point I thought, oh, this is going to be really, really quick because we did what we needed to do, and then it just gives you a lovely kind of left turn, and you're like, oh, I've got to start almost right at the beginning again.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go. But I noticed it. Most story campaigns, you kind of get that break, don't you, where it sets you up for the next chapter. But this feels like it just flows. Correctly is the wrong word. It flows from chapter 1 to chapter 2.
I was gonna say it feels a lot more like a film. Even is what I would kind of compare it to. It flows from scene to scene without big weird. Here's your loadout. Look at all these weird papers, or like just I don't know.
Yeah,
it just kind of goes from this to this to this to this, and unless like that was the toughest part for me was figuring out when I was supposed to stop. I was just like, so when can I take a break? Because it's not like, hey, you finished a mission. Now is a great time to save and get out of here. It's kind of like, nope, you're going again. All right.
It pushes you constantly through, and it feels, I think you using the film analogy, perfect. It is like a film. You are playing that film. You are that character. Just hands down so far, the best COD story I think I've played, and I want to say I'm 7 missions in.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, from what I've played, that it easily, and I think the immersion is half of that. That's what it seems like. Even if the story maybe lands somewhere as mediocre for some, it's like when you get immersed in that world, that it's just kind of, I don't know, it sucks you and makes you feel like you're there, which does so much to push that along. So it's, yeah, I don't know, it's real good so far.
Ronan in chat was saying it's the best COD campaign of all time.
Oh, yeah,
hands down.
Although if you haven't played the Infinite Warfare campaign, give it a shot. It's completely different than other Call of Duty games, and I liked it a lot.
That was a good one.
It was. It's because there was robots and space travel, just all the things that aren't supposed to be in Call of Duty. That's probably why I enjoyed it so much. Good stuff. All right. Lastly, let's talk about a new game that rightfully came out right before Halloween. You playing a little Afterparty? We're both playing a little Afterparty, it looks like.
We are.
How are you enjoying that?
It's different. It's not my normal game.
Did you play Oxenfree by chance?
No, I didn't. But
Okay.
I know I put down that this reminded me a lot of Inside, kind of that moving left to right, and there's not much more for you to do.
Okay, yeah. As far as
such.
it being on like a 2D plane.
Yeah. But they do a very good job of, as you're not a static kind of, you're only moving left to right, they'll give you that kind of, you're moving around a rock, for instance, so it gives you that kind of 3D element of pulling you in and out as you're moving your character. I love the ridiculous humour. I love the fact that if you drink X cocktail, that will give you powers of persuasion.
Yeah, it gives you like different, because that's it's so awesome when you like get to the bar or whatever, and then here's your 4 cocktails you can choose from, and it kind of tells you like this is what's gonna happen if you drink too much of this, and then when you get into conversations, if you've drank like the whiskey version, it's gonna make you maybe a little angrier, and like it'll give you a special dialogue choice that's just like you trying to get rowdy. But then there's also like the panty dropper ones where it's like if that's the drink you took, maybe your powers of persuasion, like you said, are going to be like 100 times more powerful than normal because you're drinking this. I love that addition.
Yeah, and I do find myself every time I'm in a dialogue, I take the drink, and then I'm spamming that top selection just because I'm like, well, this is what I need at the moment, so we're going for it.
Is that does it always pop up at the top, the like different colored audio or dialogue choice?
For my ones they have, but I believe there's, depending on what drink you drink, that it might go to the bottom.
Okay, yeah. So like mine have been over to the left sometimes, I've noticed as well. So yeah, that's probably drink dependent, like you said.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that. The static choices have always been left and right, and the premium drink choice, shall we say, is on the top for me at the moment. And maybe that's all part of the way they do it, because I believe Oxenfree had a strange kind of, not dialogue option, but they had like little quirks to their game.
Yeah, it's smart. And if you don't, we didn't really explain it at the top, but if you don't know what this is a 2D side-scrolling game with a whole bunch of talking. And the basic premise is you are 2 best friends, you die, you are sent to hell, and then your overall mission is to outdrink the devil so that you can go back to Earth and be alive again. So if that's not enough to sell you on the game, I don't know what else you need. But yeah, from the parts of it that I've gone through so far, it's very well written. It's very comical. It's not quite as campy as Oxenfree, I don't think. Oxenfree felt a lot more like the writers of Twilight maybe got a hold of it and tried to infuse some like teenage angst into the writing there, and I think there's a lot less of that in this, which is a good thing.
This has got more of an adult, I don't say adult theme, but it's more...
Well, it's definitely adult themed. I wouldn't let your children play this game for sure.
No, so there are some... I'm trying to think, mature content in there, isn't it? It is geared towards an adult, and a kind of not a twisted sense of humour, but your sense of humour can't be on that kind of borderline. You need to have a bit of a kind of a dark twang to your sense of humour, because it definitely does push some of those.
That explains why we're enjoying this so much.
Well, I didn't giggle a few times listening to why people were put in hell or their punishment because of what they did.
Oh, the punishment bit is so good. It's like, this is what you did, and this is what happens. And I'm not going to spoil them because I've only heard a couple of them so far, but they've been... Oh, it's so fun. If you're into... I don't know. Like, I feel like there's not a lot of game here. You get to play some beer pong, which has like gamey elements of actually having to like line up shots and shoot. But other than that, it's a lot of walking and choosing dialogue options. So just know that going into it. I think it's not. It's more like a graphic, a
Walking
visual
Dead.
novel, I guess.
Walking Dead style. I put point and click without the point and click, but
Or
I
yeah,
think,
I think that's fair. Yeah.
or like I said, Telltale's Walking Dead style of game.
It's a 2D Telltale game. Telltale.
Yeah,
That one.
with an immense story, and the wall. Put my teeth back in. The world around you is not ever evolving, vibrant and alive. So you'll have conversations from left and right, and sometimes you don't know whether to stop and listen.
Dude, that's that's one reason this game will take way too long for me, is because the people like around you will be having these side conversations, and you'll stop, and then you'll start to listen, and I found myself like 10 minutes later still listening. Like, it's not looping the dialogue, they're still just having a conversation, and I don't know when I should leave. Like, when have I gotten my fill out of this conversation? Because I don't know if they're ever going to stop. I'm assuming they do, but those little side conversations, if you eavesdrop, some of them that's some of the best comedy in the game.
Oh dear. I wonder if this game, I haven't seen how long it is, but I've got a feeling it's a very short game. However, if you listen to every bit of conversation that is in a queue or in a line, or as people are walking down the street, you could be there for 10, 15 hours.
In trouble.
But yeah, the game is just, it's immense. It really is. And it looks, what would you say the art style is?
Just like Oxenfree.
Okay.
So for people who've played that, it's definitely cartoony. Maybe like that game that had what's his name, the Hobbit guy in it. Nope, not Shia LaBeouf. Who's
Frodo?
What's his name? Somebody in chat, help. Oh, we're on Twitch. I'm not going to get an answer for 30 seconds. Elijah Wood?
Yeah.
Elijah Wood.
Yes.
He was in a game, and now I can't think of the name of that stupid game. Yeah, whatever. If you've played Oxenfree, it's made by Night School, which is the same developer, and looks identical. This one just takes place in hell and not on a beach. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good game. How long to beat says 6 to 8 hours. So, that's actually meatier than I thought it was going to be. I think that's longer than the COD campaign. So, there's definitely some game to be played there. More than you'd think.
Oh, good.
All right. Well, hey, that segment goes way quicker when there's only two of us.
Yeah, I think Moose asks a lot more questions.
That's true. I don't have questions for you about Gears or COD. So
yeah. Well, I can spoil it if you want.
Nope. Nope. I already had to take my headset off for 30 seconds. Not interested in doing it again. All right. Before we move into the news, we can briefly talk about what's going on with Game Pass Roulette. Everybody's playing Outer Worlds right now. I know that Chocolate and I have both got to play some of it. I know Moose has played some of it. I know that a lot of the community has played some of it. The episode that will be dropping is going to be 2 episodes from now. That is on November 19th. So we still have 2 more weeks for people who've been playing this. I think Dan Pod is the first person that I've talked to in Discord that has beat it. So we do have people beating the game already, and others that are putting a lot of time into it. So we'll make a call for all opinions, feedback, that kind of stuff for the next coming weeks. If you guys have that feedback, throw it in a paragraph, throw it into the Game Pass Roulette channel in Discord. And we'll definitely be having a good talk about this game on episode 78. So get your feedback in.
Been told it's not a overly long, a normal, and I use those in air quotations, RPG. So this, I think some people have quoted maybe 25 hours.
Yeah,
which is
I saw something around like 30 or 40, depending on how you're playing it. But still, compared to like other Bethesda RPGs that are hundreds of hours long, yeah, this seems short-ish.
Yes. Which is good. I like that.
But yeah, and it's not like you need to finish the game or anything to give feedback. You could have just started it. Maybe you have questions for us, or whatever. It just start a conversation. We already have people talking about it in there. So hop in, give us your feedback, and we'll be talking all about it on episode 78. All right. Well, with that, let's get into some news. All right. Chocolate, Moose is off this week, so you're on news duty.
I'm on the news duty.
What's in the headlines this week?
So, The Witcher TV show arrives on Netflix December the 20th. Now, I've just watched a trailer for this. Oh my god, it looks good.
Dude, the second trailer is so much... Like, the first trailer wasn't bad, per se, but the second trailer I just thought it was so much better. I can't wait, dude.
I was looking at him, and there was a kind of a close-up of him, and I was like, yeah, I think you've got it. You've nailed...
I think we can make this work somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow this will work.
I sent the link to my wife. I was like, right, this is what we're doing in December. We're watching this.
Yep.
So, yeah, can't wait.
And that's the thing. I don't think you need to be a gamer for a show like this. So
no, well, they're pushing it as the books. There was no, in one of the trailers I watched, there was no Witcher game. It was from the books. I can't remember the subtext.
Yeah, I guess I knew that. So that's, yeah. I mean, looks awesome. Yeah. I was definitely kind of cautious, and I guess I still am cautiously optimistic when Henry Cavill was cast as Geralt. It was kind of like, I don't know. And then like the initial images that came out of him with the wig and stuff, just I don't know. It's like they had to throw some dirt on his face to make him look better in these trailers. It's like, yeah, now he looks more rugged and like he's been through some shit. Not pretty boy Cavill with a weird white wig thrown onto his head.
On that jawline. But yeah, it does look like it's going to be the business. I did see somewhere that they believe, I think was it a writer or someone said that they've got 7 seasons worth of content either able to look back on or planning to kind of put out there.
And like, yeah, I think how many, there's like 9 books now or something ridiculous. So plenty of, and even new stories to be written. It's like touch a little bit here on something that we already know about. And then there's, I don't know, they have so much stuff they could do with it. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. We need everybody to get out and watch this on December 20th so they see that it's something that they should continue to do year over year and not just cancel it.
No, yeah. Right, I'm going to jump to the next one. Mixer subs have lowered from $5.99 to $4.99. And that's a bit of a surprise. I think this was announced 2 or 3 days after
Shroud came over?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, very strange. But I'm trying to think whether they are trying to compare, because Twitch has upped their subs if you sub on a iOS device, or they're doing something now with coins because Apple take a little chunk of that revenue. So that's why you could never subscribe over the telephone on iOS devices. Yeah, well, neither did I. I thought it was a bit strange, but it came out, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I read that that's the reason why you could never sub. So now you have to buy coins if you want to sub on your iOS device. But yeah, ridiculous. More importantly, Mixer has dropped their sub price, which is good for everyone.
Yeah, I think there's something that's way more palatable about $4.99 versus $5.99. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's the same thing with like if something's $10.99 versus $9.99. Like, yeah, it makes it seem so much more affordable. Like, yes, it is $5 now, and that makes it okay. When it was $5.99, count me out. But $4.99, yeah, sold.
Yeah, it's good marketing. It's definitely the way to do it. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, EA officially cancels NBA Live 20.
Womp womp.
So they want to focus on the next generation of players and platforms. What on earth does that mean?
I don't know. Do you think like they just don't think they can compete with NBA 2K, and it's like every NBA Live the last couple of years just seems like I'm not a basketball player by any means, but it seems like NBA Live has just been getting killed by 2K. Like 2K just released a game showing slot machines and just like putting their microtransactions at front and center in their games and trailers, and now NBA Live's like, no, we can't compete with that. But it's like, no, if anything, you should be able to stomp them right now because it's not a good look for them. But this is the year that they're going to take time off. Like, what?
That's
weird.
Very strange. I mean, me being EA, you love to hate them is probably the best term for them. This potentially could be helping the other franchises of Madden, of FIFA, and might be getting EA to get their act together, which hopefully will in turn help their team have a little bit more direction and focus and decide what they want or how they want to push NBA.
Well, yeah, it's weird because this seems like the NBA franchise seems to be the one that actually has competition. Like, I know FIFA has... Is that even competition at this point? Like, PES? Doesn't seem like it.
No, I mean, I think it all hinges on the gameplay, and at the moment, I think FIFA have got the formula down for how people want to play.
Yeah, and like with Madden, like there's no Madden competitor, so it's kind of like they've never had to be up against much except for NBA 2K. So it's kind of weird that this is the one that they're hopping out on, is the one that they have competition from. So I don't know. Kind of funny.
Or licensing. That could be what it is, the deal breaker.
True.
It could be all to do with licensing. Right. Moving on to another lovely EA story. EA joins Steam. So your EA games are slowly going to start showing up on Steam, starting with the Jedi Fallen Order. What a surprise. The biggest game they're going to release this year. Yep. So it's going to be available through Steam in spring 2020. All the other games, sorry. And Origin, it will start with crossplay between Origin and Steam available in the near future. So EA are finally kind of stacking their PC presence and giving, I suppose, the biggest platform, Steam, what they need. It's strange that they haven't mentioned Epic, have they?
I mean, yeah, I think you kind of just choose. Well, first of all, Epic probably didn't offer them enough money, so that's what Epic does. They just, how much money do I need to hand you to exclusively have your games on my platform? It makes sense for EA. I think Steam's humongous, the biggest platform, biggest launcher on PC, so why not have your games there? And as far as Origin being able to have crossplay with Steam, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a win-win for everyone. So I don't see anything wrong with this. It's cool that EA Access is going to show up there eventually, because that'll be the first subscription service available on Steam, which is kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, EA games back on Steam. All right. Why not?
Definitely. So Death Stranding coming to PC early summer 2020. Death Stranding currently sitting at an 84 on Metacritic. Now, I've heard some...
You've heard some real good things and real bad things.
Yeah, I mean, this game is not for me, and I don't know what's going on. So obviously, my ears are tuned to listening to all the bad feedback about this game.
Fair.
84 is good. It seems like it's going to be a good seller for them.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. It's good that this thing's review embargo is up a week before the game rather than it being like the day of, because I feel like a lot of people not knowing what they were getting themselves into would have been really disappointed with this game. But if you know going in that you're essentially just going to be like the UPS man having to fight demons and stuff, and like from some of the stuff I've seen, they put so much focus on your actual movement while you're moving around the world. Like if he has too many packages stacked up on his back, it makes him more like he'll trip over stuff easier, I guess. It's some of the weirdest stuff. It makes it seem like just the walking around part is going to be super tedious, which for some people, great. For other people, I don't know. If you're into being a UPS guy in the post-apocalypse, maybe it's for you. I'm still on the fence about this one. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be super cheap. I think, and then all of a sudden they'll see a massive sale splurge.
Yeah, and well, right, and then when it actually comes to PC, you'll probably see another spike. Then it is kind of weird that it is going to release on PC though. I figured this would have been just another PlayStation, like always on PlayStation. But
yeah, but then also it's a massive kind of 4, 5, maybe 6 months at a push.
Yeah,
It's coming out at I don't know, strange.
It's funny because Ronan in chat said the take that he's seen the most is that it's a great artsy game that actually isn't fun to play gameplay wise. And yeah, that seems like a beautiful world with everything that happens inside of it not being that fun, or like a very creative story that should have just been a movie and that's it. Like I read somewhere that the end of this game is a 2-hour cutscene. I don't know if that's a real thing. But if that's a real thing, it's like, what are we even doing here? Why?
So, I was going to say that.
You tacked...
Well, they should have...
Go for it.
Go on. No, go on.
You tacked a literal... Like, people pay $15 to go to the cinema to watch a 2-hour movie, and you just kind of tacked one on to the end of your game to wrap it all up. Like, what is happening? I don't get it. It's real weird.
I was going to say they could have gone the route of, oh god, I can't remember the game, not even breaking something. It was where you did every chapter you'd get a nice 30-minute cutscene of the story.
Quantum Break?
Quantum
where you
Break,
had to watch the TV show?
Yeah,
I actually
so
enjoyed
the TV show
that,
was
though.
like 100 gigs, but that would have been a more palatable kind of breakdown
Than
if
throwing
this is true.
all of it at the end. Yeah.
I mean, once you roll credits, well, once you finish the game, that 2-hour story's in. Are you going to be sitting there for 2 hours? Are you able to save it and come back to it?
Right, like you need to set aside a whole night just to watch a cutscene in a video game. Like that's where we're at.
Precisely.
What?
Yeah. Precisely.
Oh, so bizarre. But I guess that's exactly what we should have expected.
Right. So, Xbox All Access is coming back for Project Scarlet.
Woo!
Yes. So, if you purchase an Xbox One X, all bundles, you can now upgrade to Project Scarlet next year when it launches. The way the math works out, you pay $31 a month for 2 years. You'll have the Scarlet system, Game Pass Ultimate for $10 cheaper than you would have paid for everything else a la carte. Oh, that was a lot of words. So this is no, that's fine. We always want options. It seems, and what I've seen on Twitter, they are pushing towards that kind of mobile phone plan-esque, I suppose.
I mean,
contract is essentially
like a yearly upgrade is what we're going to be running into eventually here, and you don't need to be scared of the $600 price point because now we can break it up into 24 easy payments of $30.
Exactly. It's good. So for people who don't want to buy it outright, fantastic.
No, yeah.
It gives a wider range for people who can't necessarily afford forking out that money. But tacking on Game Pass, and I think Xbox Live was on there as well.
Well,
wasn't
that's
it? So
Game Pass Ultimate has. It doesn't that have
Xbox
live
Live
at this
included? Yeah,
point?
sorry, yeah, it's live. That's why it's Ultimate, and your PC play as well. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think it's a super smart, and like if you're just getting into, like, it's kind of a moot thing for you and I or people that already have a One X. But say you had an OG Xbox and you want the Scarlet, and you need to upgrade, you could get the X now, and then in a year from now, it's not like, oh man, I just bought the One X and now there's a new system coming out. It's like, no, well, you get to upgrade right then. Yeah. So it's nice, and then but it's for a very certain type of person or type of people that don't have X amount of hardware or whatever piece of hardware. But then there's also the thing where, like, for you and I and probably some other people, when Game Pass Ultimate came out, our subscriptions moved forward. So, like, I'm good with Game Pass Ultimate through 2021. So, this $30 a month thing that's not going to do anything for me. So, not helpful for me, but definitely helpful for some people that don't want to drop $500-$600 next November or December.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how they tack on those 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate onto your box. Does it come already in there? Do you have, so say for us, say in 2 years' time, as our subscriptions run out, we go for the next one. How would that work? That's the bit I'm interested, because you want to keep your game tag, you want to keep everything, all your ecosystem, your friends, your everything else. How does that work?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I feel like that's what. As I was looking through this story, I was like, somebody just put this into layman terms. And then someone was like, well, what you really need to know is that if you did this through the subscription, it'll be $10 cheaper than if you bought Game Pass every month and bought the system when it came out. And I was like, is that really true? Because you can usually get discounts on everything, including an Xbox One X. So, but I don't know. If you don't have that money to fork over all at once, $30 a year for literally everything, and to own an Xbox One X up until the Scarlet comes out, and then own a Scarlet, like, it's, I don't know. That seems sweet. That would have been a great step for me, like while I was younger or something, for sure.
Definitely. I'm going to enjoy to see the numbers if they publish them and see how they work.
It depends on if it does well or if it doesn't go well. That's how you see if you get numbers.
I think it's more if the creditors, because they push you into a creditor to get this. You
do have to pass a credit check to get into this Xbox All Access thing. So,
but I believe it's not air quotes a normal credit check. So the one over in the UK is, I'm not even going to pronounce it. It sounds like Claritin or something that they're signing up to, but that's a company over in Sweden.
Okay.
That run it, and they do other things for credit, like for JD Sports, like a local shop outfitter that does sportswear and gear for the younger generation. So you can get credit on your £200 pair of trainers.
Awesome.
Crazy, yeah. Anyway, let's sidestep that. One more news story, which is a biggie. BlizzCon 2019. Should we see if they've broken the hearts of people and crushed their dreams?
Well, I'm assuming it's a step forward from last year, just announcing like a mobile game, and people were expecting not that. So yeah, let us see.
Let's see. Right, so Overwatch 2 has been announced.
Boom, already better than last year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, wasn't a mobile game. So there was an 8-minute cinematic trailer called 0 Hour, which looked really, really good.
Oh my god, whenever they put out those little trailer things, it just makes me wish that there was like a 2-hour long. That's where I want my 2-hour long cutscene, Chocolate. It's in the Overwatch world. That's where I need it.
I don't understand why they're not kind of going and pushing anime style story for however many seasons along the game to push, or to, well, anyway, that's me. That's my way of thinking. All these cutscenes would be a lovely little kind of, even if you did each bit an 8-minute little story as you're pushing the game, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, agreed. And you might be getting some of that.
Oh. So there was a 3-minute gameplay trailer. Shows two new 4-player PvE cooperative modes. There was a story mission. Will give people a backstory on the world of Overwatch. Certain characters will be locked into certain missions for story purposes. There'll be hero missions, replayable modes, level up heroes, customizable abilities. We're also looking at a new PvP mode called Push. Looks like Tug of War. We have a PvP maps, new heroes, shown. Why can't I read today?
Shown off one, and her name is Sojourn.
Thank you very much. Ooh. And all PvP additions will also be coming to Overwatch 1. So it's important to know, if you are just all into the PvP of Overwatch, you don't have to purchase Overwatch 2. It will all be in Overwatch 1. However, if you want the PvE, that's where you're going to need to look at getting Overwatch 2. Or if you want kind of, higher res and it playing slightly better, then purchase Overwatch 2.
It's the most honest thing that will cost them so much money, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. It's a crazy move to be like, yeah, everything from our second game you can actually play it in our first game if you only wanted to play PvP stuff, which if people are playing Overwatch currently, you're just into PvP because there's not PvE options. So I don't know. Good for them. Like, this is awesome for the community. I just don't know if it's a smart financial move, which...
Yeah, but they need to recoup a little bit back from, as we've said, the dump and drop that they did last year. I think this is not an apology, but this is kind of a way to build bridges.
Yeah, definitely. It's and I think the two new modes seem cool, like the story missions. That kind of goes to what you alluded to earlier with, wouldn't it be cool if you had more cutscenes that kind of just went with missions? And it sounds like that's what this is going to be. They like pulled out to overworld map where you like saw Route 66 being there, so you would assume that Soldier 76 or whoever, I don't know Overwatch lore, but like that mission will have him and some other stuff, and then I'm assuming there's cutscenes for that, so it's like you are going to have a little narrative, which is something I always wanted from this game. Like, I always thought that this would make the perfect action adventure like RPG game.
I mean, this could be, as I said, but with the whole story thing, they could be pushing it like a Pokemon style story, and like I said, releasing it next to the game, and you could get more lore and more.
Oh, do you mean
fantastic?
Like, if it had a TV show attached to it?
Yeah, TV
Gotcha.
show. Yeah, nice, a good TV show, and then you're getting the kids to watch it. I mean, the designs of the characters and the way they look on screen and in these cinematic trailers,
I think it would do super well, like across every demographic. So that's why it's crazy that it's not a thing. I completely agree. Or not, like, why isn't there an Overwatch movie? That should be a thing. I feel like that would have made a ton of money. Maybe.
Or we would have streamed it for free. But anyway.
Definitely one or the other.
So, another announcement. Diablo 4. And they love these long cinematic trailers.
Dude,
so a 9-minute trailer dropped. This trailer I didn't watch. I sat down for dinner. I went to play it, and
don't watch that one in front of the kids. It is horrifically gory. It's really good.
It didn't look kid friendly, so yeah, I didn't watch that. But also, there's a 3-minute trailer, gameplay trailer, which is great. Seeing these gameplay trailers. Also, looks like a lot prettier and slightly darker than Diablo 3. But as we know, I'm no expert. We will now have an open world where you can run into other players. My reading is on top form. We will have public events where you'll be working side by side with other players.
Yeah.
Horses?
I'll let you get to that one in a second.
Go on.
Yeah, it looked... Actually, no, you keep going. I'll talk about this stuff when you're done. Sorry.
Yeah? Did I throw you off with my horses?
Yeah, you completely did.
Okay, so, horses. Is this news? I have no idea, but you can ride a horse now. You can ride a... What the...
Apparently you couldn't ride horses before in Diablo, and this is a big thing. The article I read, the guy was very excited that you can now traverse the lands with horses. So, horses.
Well, hopefully it's not Red Dead style and takes 15 minutes.
True.
Because of the above additions, you will not be able to play Diablo 4 offline. Yeah, that's one of the things I did hear. The world is online, and you have... Well, I say the world is online. You have to be online, so there's no offline play whatsoever, which is a bit sad, but those of us with consoles... We're constantly online, so
not a huge deal until it comes out on Switch, and then you have to not play from the train or the taxi cab or wherever you play your Switch that isn't home.
Oh. But so looks good. I fell off Diablo 3 ages ago. I think I
I've tried.
hit it for a week, and that was about it.
I was just gonna say I've tried playing Diablo 3 like 14 different times, and I'll get into it for like an hour or two, and then I don't know what it is, but I can't get into it. And I love loot and shoot games, which this Ryan came up with this, so I'll give him the credit in Discord. But he called Diablo 3 a slash and stash, since you're not actually shooting. Slash and stash is perfect for this type of game. You nailed it, Ryan. Good for you. But yeah, I don't know why I could never get into it, but seeing the trailers from this and being part of the cult of new, where I'm going to play whatever's new, I think this will probably be my first Diablo game where I actually get into it and get into it with some people. But
get into it, or just get into it and then put it down after a while?
Time shall tell. I do think the making it more of an open world now with other players being in the world is pretty awesome. When they brought up the whole public event thing, it just immediately made me think of Destiny, where like a war sat would fall from the sky and it would land, and then it would kind of call out to everybody in the area like, hey, there's an event that we all need to take care of. So it seems like it'll kind of be that kind of thing, like a random boss maybe will spawn in the world, and then you'll actually have other players to help you out, not just your party. So that definitely is a good new addition. And if you need to get there quick, the horses, man, maybe that must be why they added the horses, because it's all open world now. So cool.
It seems quite a few games now are kind of going to this open world Destiny style events, aren't they? It's good. It is good. Next up, World of Warcraft's next expansion, Shadowlands. So another 5-minute cinematic trailer. Quote from PC Gamer: World of Warcraft's next expansion is called Shadowlands. It releases next year and will take players to an alternative realm of death and decay, where you must choose one of several factions. Oh my god! To align with the fight against. Help me out, Risky.
Sylvanas.
Yes, we didn't practice that. The trailer was positively bananas, with Sylvanas dueling
Bolvar, the Lich King,
before using his helmet to tear open the skies and obliterate the barrier between Azeroth and the Shadowlands.
I had to rip that quote from PC Gamer because I watched the thing and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm watching. I'm sure a lot of World of Warcraft players are going to love whatever this is. But yeah, okay. Apparently this is a big deal. So Warcraft fans, Ladonian, if you haven't come up for Breath from Azeroth yet, you might as well stay down there, because a rift is about to open so you can get into the Shadowlands. Oh boy.
Oh, that looks like it's going to engulf everyone.
Or something.
But I have to say, they have definitely done a decent number with all their trailers. They've put a lot of effort into all the trailer. I haven't seen this much quality in cinematic trailers
in
a while.
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
really,
like, you
really
should.
good. And
I would urge you to watch that Diablo 4 channel when we get out of here. Diablo 4 trailer when we get out of here. It's worth a watch. It's something. It's pretty gross, but good nonetheless. There was also some stuff on Hearthstone. I think they're getting some new expansions. Yeah, protesters were out in full force because of the Blitzchung stuff, but we're not really going to touch on that. And there was an apology from the CEO, maybe the Blizzard man. Probably should have written that down. But so yeah, they put out an apology for all the Blitzchung stuff and blah 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 blah. But overall, it seems to have gone a hell of a lot better than last year, and this was when it was all muddled in the whole Hong Kong controversy. So imagine if this was last year, people would have been pumped.
Whoop. Yeah, but then they would have had the mobile game this year.
That's a good point. It's like, it's been a couple of years, and you're still going to wait a couple more for Diablo 4, so here's a mobile game. Like, that might have made more sense, but I think they made it sound like Diablo 4 is still a ways off, like years. So we'll see how that goes. Play some World of Warcraft. That comes out next year at some point. So do that. All right. We did it. Those are the most important gaming news things that we could find, I think, unless we missed something. If we did, let us know in Discord, because that's why it's there, for you to correct us and tell us how we're doing this wrong. No, not what that's for.
Awesome.
Anyways, we do have some new games coming out this week. Valfaris is coming to PlayStation and Xbox on November 5th. Along with Just Dance 2019 and Mario and Sonic Olympic Games. You pumped for any of those? I'm sure Just Dance. That seems right up your alley.
I was going to say, should we get this on the Switch and stream it and see who can bust a move? I mean, I'll probably bust a hit.
I think we might just all be out of commission a few days after that, just from being sore. Awesome. And then coming out November 8th, we have Death Stranding, Need for Speed Heat, and Jumanji.
Oh, looking forward to this game.
Jumanji?
The Rock? Oh, it looks quite good.
The reboot of Jumanji, I thought, with The Rock was really funny, actually. So
it was very pleasant to watch. It was not. It wasn't too much.
No, it was perfect amount of remastered for the current time, for sure.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's some people pumped for Need for Speed Heat. I feel like we haven't had a good Need for Speed game in a while, so there's that. And then you have your UPS FedEx simulation game. If I end up picking that up, I'll let people know what I think about it. Still on the fence though, like I said. All right, what else? We got our Games with Gold coming up for November. Currently you can get Sherlock Holmes. That goes until the 30th, and then starting on the 16th to the 15th of December, we have Final Station. You're also going to be getting on the OG Xbox Star Wars Jedi Fighter. That is now until the 15th. And then on the 16th, you can pick up Joyride Turbo on the Xbox 360 up until the end of the month. And then the PlayStation Plus games for November, which are just outclass Games with Gold by a mile. You've got Neo and Outlast 2. So some good stuff over there. If you do have a PS Plus subscription, I would definitely suggest picking up both of those ones. And then I feel like someone in Discord, it might have been Shine, was pretty pumped about Star Wars Jedi Starfighter coming out. So that might hold some nostalgia for some people. But don't be surprised if you hop in and then you get through 10 minutes of it and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, I think that's it. We got anything to add before we wrap this thing up?
You mentioned Subnautica out in Game Pass.
I wasn't sure if that was a completed list or not because I saw a B with a question mark, and that was not my doing. I wondered if you.
Yeah, I don't think I did it, but
Moose
I'm not sure.
Working the spreadsheet when he's not even here. What a guy. Okay, so Subnautica on the 7th will be in Game Pass. So pick that one up. Anyways, let's wrap the show up. Go over to iTunes, rate us, give us that sweet 5-star seal of approval. Gives us better exposure, which obviously is great for the show and the simplest, easiest, most free thing you can do. Also, join us on Discord. Discord's where everything happens. It's where me, Chocolate Moose, are, and every other person that you've ever heard on this podcast hangs out every day, talking about whatever, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Links for that are in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show with your hard-earned money, you can head on over to patreon.com/CAG podcast. Our next Patreon episode is actually this upcoming episode, the 77th episode. So there's still some time to get in on our game drawing, and we are real close to giving away a full game again. So if you haven't been to the Patreon page, definitely head over there. We have content coming out for everyone, weekly, bi-weekly. It comes out when it
semi-regularly.
That is perfect. That's exactly the word I need to put in here. Semi-regularly. I'll have a post up this week at some point. See, and this is good when I say it on the podcast because it kind of holds me to it. I'm going to throw up an article about game streaming and some alternatives to xCloud if you didn't get in there into that program yet. But as always, each week, though, we do want to shout out our top tier contributor, and that is Chaotic. Thanks for the support.
Thank you, buddy.
And I mean, thanks to all you guys. You guys are all great. Also, an alternative way to support the show, we do have a merch store. So if you want to deck yourself out in some awesome cross-Atlantic gaming gear, our current merch store is on Spreadshirt. Links for it, either way, are in the show notes. So definitely check that out. Get yourself a nice hoodie because we're coming into winter and you need to stay warm. So get yourself a nice cross-Atlantic gaming hoodie, right?
Yes, I might be looking at some new designs. I'm feeling a very kind of a 80s synth type vibe, so I might try to see how great I am at Microsoft Paint and draw something.
Well, I think no matter what, as soon as you're done with that first rough draft, you should save it and we should throw it on a shirt for like a week or two, just as a limited time thing. Great idea.
Limited edition. Yep.
Great idea. Links for the merch shop are in the show notes, though. And then if you want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, we are at CAG Podcast. And then if you need to reach out via email for anything, cagpodcast@gmail.com. All right. I'm at Risky the Kid. If you want to get a hold of me, that's where I am, everywhere. How about you, Chocolate?
I'm Chocolate80 everywhere.
All right. Well, another episode has come and gone. So sad. We'll see you guys next week, though. But thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Cross Atlantic Gaming. We'll catch you guys next week for an all-new episode. Goodbye.
Ta-da.
So in the spirit of Moose being here, not being here, I wanted to do some Thanksgiving dad jokes because I'm sure that's all you'll be getting from him for the next few weeks. So I figured I'd start it off now. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. That's not what I was Googling while the music was playing.
No. Hey, you don't have to do Thanksgiving. That's not even a thing for you. So it's fine if you just do normal ones. Doesn't matter to me. Anyways, why did the band hire a turkey as a drummer?
Oh, something about drumsticks. Go.
Because he had the drumsticks.
Ah, so close.
It does feel bad when you get your jokes ruined.
Right, so hang on. I have not found one that is suitable to talk on
Which
air.
cat discovered America? Christopher Columbus.
Oh my gosh. Ouch, that was bad. What do you serve tofu turkey?
I don't know.
Pranksgiving. I have no idea.
That was a bad joke.
I just read it.
Should we end that one? No, we shouldn't end it here. This one's for the enlightened minds. Why did the turkey get kicked out of the sports stadium for unruly behavior?
Gobble
because
gobble?
He tryptophan. Tryptophan? He tryptophan? But that's also the thing that makes you sleepy on Thanksgiving. Oh my god, it's so good.
You are so bad.
Thanks, Daddy.
What did the sick people do on the Mayflower?
I don't know. Threw up.
They went to the dock. What is this?
Yep,
crap?
we're done. Bye.